Hello, everyone, and welcome to episode 296 of Sold with Updike Pugh.
I'm Jeff Updike.
I'm Weston Pugh. Today, we're going to take you on a tour of a two-bedroom condo in the heart of Oakland.
And in the second segment today, we're going to talk about, we're each going to discuss three things that we think are going to affect the market for 2025.
We've got some insights or opinions. Probably both. So tell us a little bit about what you did last weekend, Jeffrey.
Well, you know what? I had lots of fun last weekend, and I'm going to brag for a minute. I got to go to Colombia, and as you all know, Adrian's from Colombia. He was born, raised there, moved here when he was 11. We had such a great time. This is Bogota that we went to. 8 million people. It's just huge. You got to see Montserrat, take pictures up there. That's Coca-Cola, which supposedly opens your lungs a little bit when you get up there. It's 10,000 feet, so it's really, really quite high. That was one of the better pictures from there, I felt like. We got to see a lot of his family while we were there. That was really, really meaningful, and he has got such a great family that we just really, really enjoyed it. As you can tell, blue and yellow is blue and orange is his signature colors. This is one of the meals we had. It's kind of a potato soup. It's one of the oldest restaurants in Colombia.
Oh, wow.
This is one of the city squares there where they have lots of daytime merchants, churches galore, cathedrals galore. It was just, they were everywhere. You couldn't swing a dead cat without hitting one. Had a wonderful time. We walked all over the city. We probably had, I think we averaged like 13,000 steps a day. It was really interesting. They have very beautiful gardens in many of the buildings. This is a Colombian artist named Botero, who that overemphasized bulbous style of painting and drawing is kind of his thing. It's really interesting. We didn't get to go into the museum last time, and so that was kind of on our bucket list to be able to do this time. And Zach is just clicking through Adrian's Facebook page where all these pictures are. So these are some of the statues Botero did, some really interesting ones. Love that new drawing. This is in the museum. This is the garden in the center of the museum that we stopped and got to hang out at. It was raining that day, so it was a really great day to be inside in the museum. This is, I don't know what my eye was doing. This is the Bogota Brewing Company. We stopped for a brewery tour. This is more of the Botero art. Back to the BBC. This is streetscapes, other restaurants. It just was really, really overwhelming. And I wanted to get to a couple of family. I'm sorry these are so out of order, but this is part of Adrian's family, his brother and his father and sister. And I think there's one, that's a picture of he and his father. That's us, all of us standing outside. And that's me and his father. It was such an incredible time.
That's awesome.
Such a great time.
How was the flight?
You know, it was really good. It's about a 5.5 hour flight, and it's the same time zone as New York, so you don't really lose a lot of stuff or lose a lot of time.
Awesome.
So
very good.
Really
and how
good.
long is that flight?
5.5 hours.
Not any bad?
Yeah.
Not bad at all.
Really. This was on top of one of the towers in downtown Bogota. It's one of the tallest buildings in the city, and so you just see for miles and miles and miles. It's a 360. And this was this dog that was so funny. He is carrying a bag of ketchup for his owner. He's walking down the street in front of his owner, no leash, no nothing. And he's kind of looking back a little bit, checking on the owner, and Adrian having to catch him looking back one time. But he was so happy to be carrying that bag of ketchup for his owner.
Everybody needs a job.
Everybody needs a job. Fresh fruit market. This is only a small portion of this. They actually have open air meat markets. They have open air like dry goods markets all in the same place. We stayed at this cute little Marriott that was part of the Artisan Hotel series there. And this was a meal that we had out to celebrate Adrian's dinner. It was incredibly unique. 7-course meal, took us 3 hours, but they brought a different cocktail And this is this was mind blowing because you see how large this room is. That this is one room in the entire club. There are 5 different stories, 5 different bars, 5 different things going on. In this one, this is like a huge theater with rakes standing, and they had a show going on with fireworks and flames, and it's only one room in the whole thing.
That is a lot.
Incredible, absolutely incredible.
Well, that sounds like you had a great time.
And we were all there 4 days.
And you came back and were ready to hit the ground running because you got home at 5 a.m. and we had clients at 9.
Yeah. Oh, that was a whirlwind.
Well, I am glad you're back and glad it was safe. We're going to shift gears now and talk a little bit about the Market Watch here in Dallas.
So what we're going to show you on the screen is a kind of an overview of what's going on just within Dallas County. You can see the different statuses that MLS has, and then we show you what this week's mortgage rates were compared to last week. You can see a market's super active.
It is super active, and I think that this is, we're going to talk about timing. This is the beginning of, or the end of January, which is really the beginning of the spring market to thaw out. And you can see here it has already started. I think that you're going to see a lot of these option periods move into that pending in the next 3 weeks or so, and you are going to see a really strong push for the end of this month. I would say that this is just the beginning, and we will really keep track to see if what is actually going under contract and closing is outpacing what is coming on the market. That's going to be a really strong indicator of where we're going to be heading in the spring market.
I would totally agree. So let's jump off into our property this week. We have a really interesting condo.
Which one is it?
This is 2722 Ninth Street, unit number 201A. This is in the Ninth Street condos, Ninth Street townhome condos. This community is right in the heart of Oak Lawn. This is I'm going to say a larger community, although it's only like 95 units. It is bounded by 9th Street, Throckmorton, Congress, and Brown.
Here's a fun little fact. When this first came out of the ground as a resale product, Jeff Updike represented this when he was with Virginia Cook, and I believe Beverly Bell was on your team at that point to help sell that.
Beverly Bell was the lead agent on that project, and it was funny. They hit the market at just as the market was softening a bit. But these did amazingly well. I mean, they were a good. These developers had taken a 1950s apartment complex, converted many of the small units into 2-bedroom units. They did foundation work. They did plumbing work. They really. I'm not going to say took it back to the studs, but they did a tremendous amount of work to bring this property to current standards.
And I think that it's interesting because Tremble Crow has purchased the old Parkland Hospital, and that gentrification on that far west side of Knight and Throckmorton has really kind of like bookend a development that is sweeping through this area. And so that was like way early in the market when you brought it on. And now it's in a really well gentrified neighborhood. It's interesting because directly across the street, there's 4, I'm going to call them townhomes because they're single family attached. And they were in Dwell magazine back in 2010. And I thought it was so interesting. So the area has a lot of history. It's super easy to get around, whether you're going into uptown, whether you're transferring downtown to get to work. You also have great access to the toll road, and Love Field is just a stone's throw away.
One of the great things about this neighborhood is the plethora of restaurants that you have. One of them is a really cool restaurant just across the tollway called Mike's Chicken, and I say just across the tollway. You actually walk under the tollway on the street. But Mike's Chicken, we've been there. It's really good chicken. It was busy as could be the day we went there for lunch.
And it looks like when you go to Mike's that you're going to go do your laundry because it's next to a laundromat, which is the funniest thing. That's why it's really like a locals only. One of the things that's not locals only is the Katy Trail. Katy Trail is known far and wide, has a huge impact in the area of this uptown Oak Lawn area, and actually connects Knox, Henderson, all the way down to the American Airlines Center. There are also lots of other filler trails that have attached to this. It's in the grand scheme to make this emerald bracelet that they call of parks and trails throughout this core of Dallas, but this is really the backbone of it. One of the best places in the spring for you to get out and air it out. So take a look.
And if you're lucky enough, you'll see Troy Aikman running on the trail.
That is a true statement.
Yes.
I've seen him on there.
Yeah.
I think everybody has.
So I think, one of the cool things is this is a really good outdoor thing to do. If you're more of an indoor sports type person, you've also got Momentum Gyms, which is right around the corner. This is in the design district. And this is a national gym system. I don't want to say chain, but it's a national gym system. Climbing walls, lots of indoor activities beyond the climbing walls. We were talking earlier about you can do a day pass in this.
$24.
So, for a day pass and $24, get a small group of people and go together and, just hang out.
And things like this are really important when the weather gets too hot or too cold here in Dallas. So keep this in mind. It's fun and it's unique. I believe it's good for all ages, but don't quote me on that. Just double check.
We have a really cool condo to talk about today at 2722 Ninth Street, number 201A. This is Ninth Street Townhomes. Really great outdoor space, very well manicured. This is one of the many courtyards in it. This is a second story unit and has one of the best views in it. Parking is right there by it. You have easy access into the complex, whether you're a pedestrian or whether you're a car.
The other thing too about this complex is that the way that it's configured is that several buildings are grouped together to make like one hive, and they're kind of like enclosed in their own set of gates. So it's not like you can wander throughout the entire complex, which is really a nice redundancy that it has. It also has gated parking that makes it, again, another layer where it's off. The open concept of this floor plan is really easy for you to figure out where your furniture goes. And you can see here how easy and open this kitchen is. One of the things also is this has its own full-size, or not full-size, but stackable washer and dryer here in this unit, and also a pantry. So it has all of the creature comforts you really need in the condo right there at your hands.
Great sized bedrooms. Each bedroom has its own private bath, which is rare for this community. There are other floor plans that are 25% larger that have the second bath. This is one of the rare ones that is just under 1,000 square feet, where you have these two finished out baths, travertine surfaces, the quartz countertops, undermount sinks. They're all move-in ready.
Turnkey.
This one is really totally turnkey, and it's got this little patio.
This is the patio, step out patio. A little bit of a view of downtown. This is off one of the bedrooms there, the second bedroom, not the primary. This also has a really great pool. Again, this is also enclosed, so it's not like you have people that are coming in that don't belong there, which is wonderful. It also has a pergola as well, so really great configuration.
So 2722 Ninth Street, unit number 201A, is a 2-bed, 2-bath, has 2 assigned parking spaces. The community was built in '64, renovated in about 2006 and 7, 812 square feet, listed at $230,000.
So in the comments below, you'll be able to see a link and click on that. That way you can actually take a look at the photos that we didn't use at your own leisure. Share it with someone that you think is interested. And if you'd like to see it, let us know, and we'd be happy to make that happen.
And with that, we'll be right back. Did you know there are a lot of ways you can keep up with us? For starters, every Wednesday at noon, we host Sold with Updike Pew, live from our Facebook and YouTube channels. Our show is dedicated to featuring some of the best homes in the Dallas market and about sharing timely information about market trends. But don't worry if you missed the show, because you can always listen to them on SoundCloud, iTunes, and Spotify.
Still want more? Follow us on Instagram, where you get a first-hand look at what it's like to be a realtor. It's not always previewing homes for clients or getting them ready to go live in MLS. Lastly, visit our website and you'll be able to create a custom home search tailored specifically to your wants and needs that's timely and accurate. Whether it's square foot, location, or the neighborhood, we have you covered.
If you'd like to know how much your home is worth, we can help with that too. Just visit homeprice.fyi, enter a few pieces of information like your home address, and we'll email you a price. When you're ready to talk real estate, you can reach us online, by phone, or by text at 214-377-2223.
And remember, we want to be realtors for life.
Hi, everybody. Welcome to the second segment, episode 296 of Sold with Updike Pugh. I'm Jeff Updike.
I'm Weston Pugh, and today we thought we'd talk about some of the indicators and some of the factors that we think might affect both buyers and sellers this year in this market. Do you want me to go first, Jeff?
Either one.
You want me to do one and then you do one, or how do you want to do that?
Yeah, that'd be a good idea.
Okay. So the first thing I think that we're going to see is I think that we are going to see both buyers and sellers, and I say sellers because they're going to become buyers, realize that 6 to 7 is going to be the new norm as far as interest rates. We just heard the Fed in their presser this week talk that they are not changing rates. And I think that this is going to be the new norm. And bygone are the days when everybody was hailing that they were going to get a 2.8 for 30 years. I think that they've realized if they don't buy, that the appreciation will continue.
Yeah, I would agree with that. I think there is a mental factor that people are kind of accepting the new norm on that. I think the one of the other factors that we're going to see is that there is going to come a pressure within people that bought a home 10 or 12 years ago. That so let me back up one step. People buy and sell property every 7 to 9 years on average.
Okay.
That was before interest rates went down and were artificially low for so long. I think there's pressure that is changing on people to go ahead and make that move now because they, you know, if they're people that needed to downsize and they didn't downsize, they haven't downsized in the last 5 years. I think they are really going to be doing that now.
I think we will see that. I do. I do struggle with listening to how many people say, I didn't realize I bought my forever home. Even like the photographer the other day was telling us about her and her husband. She's like, I didn't know I bought my forever home. I'm at 2.8. And I was like, I know. I hear it every day. I think one of the other things, and this is me just like infusing like my background from new home sales and then kind of just like paying attention to like what's been on the news. I think that we're going to have, well, first off, let me preface this by saying I feel like new home sales are the pressure relief valve on resale housing, meaning when there's enough new home construction, it keeps the price appreciation normalized in resales versus it getting out of control. And I think we saw it out of control when the supply chain was disrupted during COVID and we couldn't get new home construction completed, and therefore people who had to buy were absorbing resale at an astronomical rate, and that through the pricing, that's when we said it was white hot. That I think that what we're going to see is that if there becomes a disruption in the labor chain, because we've already heard Florida farmers talk about not having people there to like pick and harvest. I think that my experience in new home construction is watching homes being built, and if those laborers are not present and that slows down, we could see a similar thing heat up within our market, which is really kind of, I don't know if it's alarming is the right word, but I do have a concerned eye to it. I know that it will drastically affect pricing if we have to change the way we pay those laborers, which, you know, for good or for bad, I've always joked and said, Americans can't afford to buy homes that are built by American hands. So
that's true. That is true. Which is unfortunate. That is not the way it should be. My second thing that I think is going to affect the real estate market this year is people, many of the corporations that are forcing people to come back to the office. A lot of people made geographic housing decisions based upon the fact that they've been remote for the last 5 years.
Freedom.
4 years. And I think, you know, people are you know, a lot of people are not going to give up that job. You know, yes, labor force had this big collective feeling of, no, we're not going back, putting their foot down. I think I don't think they're going to have that for a lot longer, and I think they are going to be forced to start that migration again.
I agree 100%. I mean, we had a client that moved back to California because all of a sudden that became, we were just showing clients yesterday that it's a 3-2 now for him. She's still lucky enough to not have to go into the office. But yeah, I think that is going to make a huge shift. And some of those people may have to give up those 2 8s or find a new job. And some of the locations that they live in do not support the lifestyle that they're accustomed to.
Yeah, and I don't think the job market's going to support I don't think there's going to be, we're already seeing big companies go through RIFs, reduction in workforce, which is really corporate speak for we're just going to trim the fat.
Right. I think the last thing, and this is something I noticed within the last couple of weeks as the market has heated up, and I think, without stepping on toes, I think it is so critical if this market does get warmed up for the representation that you choose to be of a high caliber. And I say this because nothing sets off other agents when they feel like they're working with someone who's incompetent. And I say this, we had an instance where one agent could not even figure out how to book an appointment on our listing. And we walked backwards and forwards, and I say you walked backwards and forwards trying to make sure that we had set it up and it was right, and there were other agents that were booking it. Yet this individual doesn't know how to book an appointment. The offer came in and it was poor. And I think that if you're not vetting your agent that you want to use to the same caliber that you would an investment banker or a cardiologist, then you should think about that, because this is the largest financial transaction you're probably going to make in your entire life. And if the response when you ask, why did you get into real estate, is, I just needed something to fulfill me. I've got a little extra free time.
I love to look at houses.
It looks easy. I just do it part-time. These are huge red flags, and you should step away from these. I think that is one of the keys to a successful transaction. And I love it when our clients at 7:30 in the morning are replying to us saying, thank you so much for being on top of this. I think these are elements that, with the technology and the way that it's changed, yes, it has to shut off at some point, but I think that there are ways that you and I work so differently that it is required for you now in this market to be with an agent or a group that is on top of it.
And I would agree with that. One thing about yours, then I'll get to my last point.
Tell me more about me.
I think there was, I think this was our statistics come out in the last week or so, where 75% of the members of the National Association of Realtors did not sell a single house last year.
I did not see that statistic. 75%?
75% did not sell a single house last year.
What's the number of those that didn't sell even 5?
Well, that's the next wave. The number of agents that sell more than 5 houses a year, I think, is 1% or less. I'll shore up those numbers for you, but I'm almost certain that's what I was reading last week.
Frightening.
Yeah. My last thing is that I do believe technology is going to change real estate, and I don't know if it's going to change it for better or change it for worse. I just think that the consumers are adapting to technologies, whether it's AI or whether it's, enhanced web searches or, any of that. I just think that's going to change the way our business is operated, and I do think it's going to streamline transactions when it comes to the role consumers play. Consumers aren't going to have to jump through all the hoops that they used to. I think searches are getting smarter. One of the great things and one of the flaws of our MLS is we've got almost 500 searchable fields in our MLS. But if the agent on the other side didn't put the information in exactly as you're searching for, you may end up missing property. And so I think the I think we're about to see AI change the searches from the past that we've had to set up into more of a Google search.
Interesting.
I want something that is about 2,500 square feet, that has at least 3 bedrooms plus an additional office space. And AI is going to know that that could be a 4-bedroom. It could be a 5-bedroom, as long as the 5th bedroom is a small room. You know,
You sound like you've been talking to Kara Swisher and Scott Galloway.
But I do think that change is coming.
Okay, I want to expand on that because I think that there is an interesting, again, I'm talking about the spring market. I keep saying if it bubbles up, it's going to warm up. But if you are using a website, a portal, an app, whatever, that does not cull its data, and by culling it, I mean it doesn't keep feeding you information that is
accurate and current.
Current and accurate, yes. If it's already under contract, you should not be wasting your time on that. You need to be familiar with websites. Ask. We will tell you which websites to use that have the data that is accurate. If you're using one because it's easy and it's just top of search results returns, it may not be the best one, and it could cost you your dream home. Not to scare you, but I'm just being completely honest.
Yeah, I would agree with that. Well, I hope y'all have found that helpful. It's been kind of interesting for us because we, again, we didn't talk about this before. But if there's anything that you think is going to affect the real estate industry over the next 12 to 15 months, let us know. We'd love to see that in the comments.
And just remember, we want to be your realtors for life.
When you're ready to talk real estate, you can reach us online, by phone, or by text at 214-377-2223.
And remember, we want to be your realtors for life.